Hey, we're live, guys. We're live. I'm Jeff with eBay Addicts, and today I have the mindful merchants on. I got Cali Reseller Luis and Louis the Lone Star Picker. How are you guys doing today?
Hey, we're good. How about you, Luis?
I'm good, man. Appreciate the invite, Jeff. Like I said, I'll be here anytime you need me.
Oh, for sure. I always like hanging out with you guys. So I wanted to say hi. We got Brandon Sparks in the chat, so I wanted to say hi to Brandon. So
Hey,
what's
Brandon.
been going on with you guys, man? How is your mindful merchant show been going, man?
Thanks for asking, Luis. You wanna?
Yeah, it's been going good. We're going into our 13th episode, I believe now. So it's been good. We've had a lot of great guests come in, and it's been good. The topic of, like I said, mental health and reselling. How everybody's trying to everybody's starting to see how it all connects. People think it doesn't connect or it doesn't really
Good
cross
point,
through
Luis.
each other, but they do. They do. So yeah, we've been sharing a lot of information and been having a lot of great guests come on as well.
Yeah, we're really excited. Our 13th, lucky number 13, we're gonna have a really good guest. We could probably save to the end, but I'm just gonna go ahead and shout it out. Let's tell you guys, we got a really good name this week. It's coming this Monday. It will be on my channel. His name is Brennan. He's better known as the Curious Picker. He's a really smart guy, and I love his perspective on his form of reselling. But yeah, thanks for having us on, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me today. I've caught a couple of your shows. I think I've saw you guys had Daily Refinement on. You had Back from Burnout on. You had a lot of good guests on your show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just had Reyes the entrepreneur on yesterday. It was a good show. I don't know if you guys caught it or not, but he's a really down to earth person. So I got a chance to connect with him and hang out. So looks like we both had a busy schedule lately. So I just wanted to touch bases with you guys and check in. And we wanted to talk a little bit about what's been going on with you guys, how you're balancing your resale business, being YouTubers, and then still spending time with your family in the holidays coming up. You guys want to talk about that a little bit about how things been going for you?
You want to go first, Luis?
Sure, I'll go first. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's been a busy month for me, busier than all the other months. So I've been balancing everything. Like I said, right now, I think I'm sleeping about 4 hours a night, just because I'm so busy with packing, doing with the kids with their online schooling, and just getting everything else together with what we're doing online with the mindful merchants. Plus, then my wholesale stuff I do on the side too. So I have a lot of hats to juggle throughout the week.
What Luis isn't telling you is Luis does more lives than me per week. He does. He probably won't do. You don't think you're doing one this Friday, but normally on Fridays you have like kind of a live chat where you can get other resellers in there and talk about what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, I usually do a Friday night hangout on Fridays, but I'm not doing one tonight. I'm actually taking a little break because I had a really busy week. So
good.
It's like we were just talking about that we need to take care of each other and take care of ourselves, health-wise and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna take a break tonight from going on live and just hang out with the kids and the family. So
that's what's great. That's what you got to be mindful this time of year. I was like so happy. I was talking to Luis this week, and I said, "What are you gonna do, man?" He's like, "I'm not gonna go on Friday." I'm like, "Yes, good," because he does that. He does mindful merchants, and Luis is this guy that like he's doing full time as a reseller. On top, he didn't tell you one thing. He does Tuesday night auctions. And I did it once, twice, 2 or 3 times with him. I don't know how he does it. I mean, the next day I was like crazy busy. I sold a lot of stuff and I was like thankful, but I don't know how Luis does it. So he's balancing. Let me tell you.
Yeah, you got to, man. Go ahead,
yeah,
Jeff.
sometimes I come by and check it out and hang out sometimes in the background. Sometimes I don't talk a lot. I go to the chat rooms because I'm a YouTuber and everybody, like, as soon as you say hi, everybody's like, hey. And it's like, you really want to come by for a few minutes. Yeah, that's always a great thing though, because everybody,
you come by a lot more than
well, everybody in the community is supportive is what I was going to say, So,
and what's nice about, like you said, what you said, even if they can't make it, like I have people, and Luis has said the same thing too. People reach out and say, "Hey, we're sorry, we can't make your live." And we're like, that's not what it's about. Like, if you can make the live, it's fun. Yeah. But if you can't, just write a comment and just say, "Hey, that's what replay's for. Take it easy. You got to go on your time."
Yeah, I was gonna say, Cali Reseller Luis, you got to sleep sometime. You know, we're not like, we're not RoboCop or the Terminator. At some point, you got to sleep, right? Because you're a full-time reseller, but you also have to take care of your family as well and get them up for breakfast in the morning and help them get ready for school and all that. Are they still doing school from home, or how's it been going?
Yeah, they're still online right now, but they just finished their last day, so they'll be off for the next 2 weeks. So now I'll get a little bit of a breathing room with them.
A little double-edged sword though, because then you got the kids. You got to hey, go, let's do this, and then try to do reselling as a dad. That's a little.
It's gonna be a little bit more. I'm gonna have to find different ways to keep them entertained while I do what I'm still doing. But yeah, definitely. Yeah. But to answer Jeff's question too about getting rest. Yeah, that's one thing I know, that once November hits, it's going to be busy from November till probably the end of January. So those are the months that I'm pretty much just going. And once February comes, then I'm like, all right, cool. You start feeling that it starts to kind of slow down a little bit, so where you can kind of get back to sleeping back to 8 hours a night or 9 hours, whatever. But for right now, it's just, you just got to keep going with it.
Jeff, how about you? Like, we know you're also working like a semi full-time job, but in addition, we know you're doing the hustle too. Yeah. So have you lost any sleep?
I didn't get a ton of sleep last night. I was working for the medical courier company, and basically it's an app on your phone. It's similar to like Lyft or Uber, but instead of taxiing people around, I taxi boxes around. And a lot of times it'll be like human tissue or human eyeballs, and they give you a pickup location and a delivery location, and they give you a pickup time and a delivery time. So I'm in Tampa, in case you guys in the chat don't know, and right now the Toronto Raptors are in town. I guess they're staying here in Tampa for the season, and they have to go get this testing every day, 7 days a week. And I'm a medical courier, so I had to go deliver these like blood samples, and they have they swab people's ears and nose and saliva and all this stuff. They have to get tested every day before they go into the court. I mean, you got to think, Luis. I mean, these people are making $30 million a year. They can't afford for them to get sick. You know, that knee's a $30 million a year knee. They can't afford for that knee to go out.
So you're dealing with like a logistics issue of like demand, like get it here, get it now. We need to know this information. And God forbid that there's like a storm or an accident or something going on.
Yeah, and it's got to be there ASAP. So they can't like send it through UPS or FedEx or the post office. They say, hey, we're picking it up here. It needs to be delivered in 2 hours. Go get it there. So that's what I've been doing. So I picked up a bunch of testing things from the arena downtown in Tampa, and I had to drive it all the way to the east coast of Florida, which is in Melbourne. So that's what I've been doing besides shooting YouTube videos and working on my 2 eBay stores. I work for this courier company. And so, for example, just driving from here to there, it's about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, depending on traffic. And then when I got to Melbourne, they were like, hey, we have another big cooler of human tissue we need you to take back to Tampa. So
now they want it now.
Yeah. And so I had to pick up 2 boxes from Melbourne going back to Tampa. But in those 3 deliveries I did, I made $365 last night for the courier company. So awesome. I mean, most people don't even make $400 in a whole week, and you're making almost that in one night, and all you're doing is just driving. Yeah. And you set up your own hours, you're your own boss, you make your own time schedule. But when they give you a delivery and they say, hey, we have this delivery, and you accept it, it's got to be there. You can't say, I don't.
It's kind of interesting you're saying that too, Jeff, because like you're talking about high demands, and fourth quarter is pretty much gone for us as resellers. We're like in the clear now. It's like, it's sort of smooth sailing, except for like the returns and whatnot. And like Luis said, we gotta like still pump through January, and we need it, God. But like, along with that stress, has anybody and you were talking about logistics, I can't help but think about the United States Postal Service. Like, have you guys had any issues like with just the high demand and the delays and the buyers constantly knocking, hey, when is this going to be there? Like, for example, I had a Baby Yoda doll that was like super big, and this lady from Puerto Rico ordered. As soon as she orders, like, when is it going to be here? I'm like, first of all, let me prioritize this for you, And then she kept writing me back in Spanish, and I was like, I don't know. I can't guarantee when the post office is going to have it there for you. Yep. But once it gets into your territory, that's a whole different issue. I don't know if you're in the mountains. I don't know, because, she could be like clear across where, and it's like the delays that are going on here, What do you guys think?
I mean, part of life. Nothing you could do about it. I mean, I live in Florida, and I have people that buy packages in California or New York, and they want the package delivered yesterday. I had someone message me the other day, and they're like, "Hey, I want to buy this particular item you have in your store. Yeah. When can you guarantee me it's going to be delivered?" And I said, "Listen, you're ordering it on a Sunday. I'll have it shipped out to you on Monday. But once it leaves my hands and goes to the post office, I don't have no control over when it gets to you. I'll get it. I'll do my part to get it."
As like a reseller, we just got to be like, we got to, we can't take this personally. We just got to constantly because one is, if you do take it personally, you're risking your stress, levels. And this is stuff that we talk about, Jeff, Luis and I talk about all the time. We actually talked about postal delays and how, not just from the seller's perspective, but from the buyers, we just got to be as compassionate as we can, roll the punches, don't take it personal, and say, hey, listen, we understand. We're in the same boat with you. This is, you're frustrated. We're feeling the same pressure right now. We hope, and we're gonna work through this, kind of attitude. You're typing this, of course, but it's but if you start, as soon as you mentally let it get to you, I notice a lot of people that are griping out there, and I don't see them doing successful. I really think it affects your sales.
The thing is, you got to be professional, because you got to think, if these people were going to go to Walmart or Target, they wouldn't give an attitude to the customer. You just got to be professional and say, hey, because you have to understand, some people are buying presents for his Christmas presents for their family members. So if I was buying a present for my family member and it was delayed, I would I wouldn't have an attitude, but I would reach out and say, hey, I'm buying this for my son or daughter or cousin or uncle or grandparent. When it's going to arrive. And I would just, I wouldn't be mean or rude. I would just reach out,
Yeah. We got to do our best. And the thing is, I'm not saying that makes them always nice and right, but it's well, why let it bother you? Really? Okay, they want to be impatient, or they maybe want to pull the wool over your head and say, hey, you didn't get this here in time, and I'm going to throw negative feedback at you. And I've already had a few come back at me, and I'm like, hey, I really understand from your perspective. And a couple of them calm down, but some of them, you have no control over it. So why get all fussy about it? Luis and I talk about that stuff. It's
well, my perspective is you ordered the item, I shipped it, I gave you the tracking number. That's all I can do. Sometimes you have people that are unreasonable, and they're like, well, I want you to call the post office and I want you to handle it. I'm like, look, I did all I can do. I don't have magical post office powers. I can go and take it there, put a shipping label on it, put a tracking number on it, and that's all I can do. I have no control over that.
Tip on that one, I got a great one for that. Go, you know what? You're right. I'm gonna take it up with the USPS. Can you give me 2 days? Give me about a day or two. I just take it. And what I do is I come back with that tracking that you get digitally online, and I'm like, guess what I found out? And usually by that 2 days bump up, they at least say a little bit different. Say, you know what I've noticed? It's been 5 days in the same place, but it finally got to your area yesterday. Yeah. And then they write back, well, that shouldn't take so long. And I'm like, you know what? I agree with you. It was let's give the post office hell.
I know, right?
You got to laugh. It's come on.
Well, I mean, we don't have no control over the post office, and you just got to kind of work through it. But I do like your idea of saying, hey, let me check on it, and I'll get back to you in a day or two, because at least buys you some time where you can come back to them and say, here's the tracking number, it just updated. Because sometimes the customer is like, hey.
Yeah, you just got to give them a story. Go, hey, you know what? I empathize. What you really do is it's our responsibility as resellers. We have to be empathetic. Why be in this business? If you can't, you can be sarcastic and rude, but it's it ain't going to get you anywhere. And I get it. There's some of us that are rotten buyers. It's not are you kidding me? They're feeding you, so it's be mindful of it. But yeah, you can't let them take advantage of you in the sense that they're going to, sit there and beat you down. But at the same time, it's yeah, hey, like you said, Jeff, we're doing the best we can. And you know what? Give me a second. I'm gonna go to my postal carrier, and I'm gonna see what I can find out for you. But it may take a day or two, and you kind of it's a polite brush off. It's they know they can't do anything because they want you to do something about it. Well, guess what? You're just gonna have to wait.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you just got to do the best you can, because my goal is I want to have repeat customers. I have some repeat customers that come and buy from me every week. So I don't want to give it an attitude. I don't want to give them milk crap. I'm just saying, hey, here's your tracking number. If your item is misplaced or something, we'll check on it and get back to you. That's it. That's all you can do, because you don't have no control over the post office. Hey, Louis, I wanted to catch some people in the chat. We got 10 people here hanging out with us. We got Brendan here with us today. We got Living a Best Life. It says hello. We got Sayola Seller says, "Hey everyone." We got Wendy's here. She says, "Hey Louise and Jeff and Louie." And we got Butterfly Hustles is here. We got Simone Grant. I wanted to say hi to Butterfly Hustles. Let's see. Living a Blessed Life and Improving Daily says, buyer wants a guaranteed package by Christmas. They will pay any shipping upgrade. You know, it's crazy. I was standing at the post office the other day, and someone they were complaining to the person at the post office, says, you want me to pay for express shipping, but it says it's going to take 11 days to get there, and I'm paying for extra shipping to get it there faster. So it's like, would it be if it was slow shipping? That's the expedient shipping is 11 days. So I wanted to say hi to Wendy. She says she won an auction in October and it still hasn't arrived.
Wow.
Butterfly Hustle says she sent messages to the buyer ahead of time, letting them know there's going to be delays. I wanted to say hi to Jennifer Hayes here. Thank you for coming by. And the Cap Guy is here. Hey, Cap Guy. Thank you for coming out today. We appreciate you. So I didn't want to ignore the guys in the chat. But, yeah, I mean, the thing is there's going to be delays with everything that you want to do, whether it's reselling or, whatever it is, there's always going to be delays. So there's only so much you can do. I just try to focus much more of my energy on getting items listed, and then the stuff that's already sold. If something happens, if I have to give a buyer a refund at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world.
Not our first rodeo for a lot of us. I mean, for anybody that's rewatching this or coming along, and I think everybody in the live chat we're not new to this rodeo. This is not our first picnic. So I'm going to give you a tip on something that I was reminded of. I knew that other resellers did it, but Luis reminded me, says, this is what I do for my post office guy. I buy him a nice Starbucks card. Some people do it every week. Some people can afford like every couple weeks. Me, every 30 days or something. I just want to tell my guy, you know what? I really like around Thanksgiving. I said, I'm sorry I'm late, but I wanted to give this to you. He's like, wow, thanks. You don't have to do that. And I'm like, I know, but I want to tell you that I really appreciate it. That makes all the difference because it's like paying it forward. It's like you were talking about putting energy into it, Jeff. And it's like it really does affect the energy of the flow that we're getting out of somebody such as a postal carrier or UPS or FedEx or whatever. Just little grants, little just granting of just kindness to people, especially those that affect our business and that we care about. You know what I mean? Or we should at least would think in our best interest, but like, how do you deal with it, Luis?
No, yeah, I mean, it's just those little gestures that you do for the postman. A lot of people think, it's not a big thing, but it does go a long way, especially around this time when you're sending out a lot of packages, and it's more than usual. They're used to getting maybe a couple of packages a day. Towards you might be sending 20 or 30 packages in one day. So, of course, I do that for my postman. I'll give him a Starbucks gift card, and I tell him, I appreciate all the hard work. I know I'm giving you extra for your route, but I just want to, I tell him I appreciate what you do, and and I thank him. So he always takes good care of me with both packages, and like I said, I always do little things for him like that, especially right now at this time when they're like really busy.
Yeah, and so like for us, like to project that. So this is where we talk about stuff like this on Mindful Merchants, Jeff. Is like it's important your attitude. You can't control their attitude. You can control your attitude. So like that same negotiation, like it's sort of like negotiating when you're doing a sales. Like Luis just is very, Luis is probably one of the most stand-up guys I've met in a long time. Like he's very polite. He's doing, he's doing his best, and you see he's doing a lot as we just talked about. But like just to give common courtesy to somebody goes a long way. So when I do that with my buyers, I go, you know what? I understand your frustration. I really do. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the post office, or I'm going to figure out. If I have to make some phone calls, I'm going to look into it for you. Your purchase is very important. $5.99. Free shipping. Whatever. Or you get that $200 item. You better get on it because that's the person that's going to really squawk. And you don't want to lose that $200 item.
Yeah, well, what I was going to say is that even though the customer that bought a $5.99 or a $10 item, the idea is maybe it might only be a $10, $15, $20 item, but if they're going to be a repeat customer and you could get them to come back to your store and they buy something once a week or once every 2 weeks, that's the whole idea. I mean, if you look at some of these big box stores and brick and mortar stores, they have repeat customers. Like even Walmart, there's people that go there and buy their groceries every week. So that's what I'm trying to say is we want to be able to keep the buyers happy, because once Christmas is over with, they still might want to buy something come January, February, or March.
That has the best deal. Go to Jeff, eBay Addicts on eBay, or whatever, and they're like, holy crud, there's nobody this cheap. But you know what? It's not that he's cheaper. Sometimes I'm paying 25 cents more, but I'd rather trust him as he's got me my package. He's there for me. And I've had people, can I tell you something? You guys will laugh, but I've had people go, you know why I skipped the first 10 or 20 that are $5.99 or whatever? I went to yours and paid $6.75 because I'd rather pay 75 cents knowing you're 100%. You're not Goodwill that sells us crap, like this Goodwill Corporation. And every time I get it, it's like a messed up book, no description. They don't show a photo. You showed 12 photos for an item you didn't get that much. Thank you. And I'm like, wow, okay, I must be doing something right,
Well, so. The idea is Luis will tell you, man, that your reputation is really important, because you're not meeting someone face to face. The only thing they can go by is look at what other feedback is from other people. So to me, it's more important to me to keep 100% feedback on my eBay store than it is a $10 or $15 sale, because I want to keep the buyer happy. They look at that. If let's say all three of us are selling the same item, and my feedback score is 95, Lone Star Picker is 98, and Cali Reseller Luis is 100. We're selling the same book for $20, and all three of us have the same item, the same price. Okay, who is the buyer going to buy from? I'm at 95. Lone Star Picker, you're at 98. Cali Reseller Luis has got 100% feedback. Now, all three of us have the same. We have the same exact item for sale. The same item. It's going to be there, shipped the same time, the same condition, same price. Who are they going to buy from? Right? They're going to go to Luis. He's got 100% feedback, because they know that he's going to try to take care of his customers. That's what I was trying. That's all I was trying to say. No,
and and your other point about once they establish that pattern, you got to look in business. You have to look at all kinds of stats, percentiles, this and that. The contentment range of keeping a satisfied customer. If they come back, like you said, they may not buy that $6.99. They may buy your $200 item, whatever. But because they came back, people don't, resellers tend to forget this. Sometimes the snide and sarcasm is a form of, pessimistic negativity. That is not a mindful aspect. Being mindful is being aware. Being aware is being conscious of how you run your business. How do you want to run your business? Like you both were saying, your word is what, it's like, you want to do your best. So this time of the year, no, don't get stressed. I mean, there is challenges, but keep your aims. Oh, I got 6, returns. Okay, deal with the returns. To me, it's quicker to go ahead, some cases, figure out out of the 6, 3 of them I can give them their money back, because I don't care. It's like, hey, sorry, you got lost or whatever. Here's your money back. I want you to be happy. And I've had people come back on that case too. They write a positive feedback. Honest seller, did the right thing, glad to do business with you. And to me, that means a lot. It makes me want to continue doing the platform that I'm working on. Mine is eBay, Luis is Mercari. It doesn't matter if you're doing a job or not. Do your best, get out, just boom, move on.
It's just about taking care of people. Remember, we're human beings. We're not robots. Like Wendy says, she went to the post office this week and had holiday cards and cookies for the clerk. They said it was the first gift card that they had received and made their day. So it's all about remembering that we're not, it's not a transaction where it's okay, $10.99, boom, slap a barcode on it and ship it out. You're dealing with a human being on the other end of that. So if you can,
you're dealing with human beings, right? But you're also dealing with, look at it from this perspective. Like you mentioned the keyword energy. And I believe that karma is about energy. Like she does that, and turns out one of those guys is a low blood sugar guy, and he just rushing through the day because he's doing a 12-hour postal service because they're paying him overtime. And he's like, I got to do this because I'll lose my job. And the guy just needs a couple cookies to get through the last couple hours of the day. She not only did that nicely for him, but she's doing it for the postal, what do you call it? The guys like us that come up, here's our packages, here's this, and they're getting them through that day, because this is a treacherous time. We're all lonely. We're hungry. We get angry. We get, really tired. We're really, like you guys just mentioned, both of you, There was about a week ago, I lost a few hours of sleep because I did a flea market, 12-hour day. I was asked to stay up and watch some stuff, and I'm like, my body's feeling it crash. Got up the next day, did an auction. Got up the next day, did another, did our Mindful Merchant show. Got up the next day, and I'm like, okay, I need a day of rest. When do we take that in consideration?
Well, like I said, we're not robots. We're all human beings, and you have to be able to take care of your people, your buyers, but you got to take care of the people at the post office. But you also got to take care of yourself. You can't work 24 hours a day. You got to sleep sometime. I had a day the other day where I had going 2-3 days in a row where I was going on 5-6 hours of sleep. And finally I was just like, you know what? Nope. I'm turning my ringer off. I'm turning my phone off, and I'm just going to let my body sleep. If I need 10 hours of sleep, I'm going to get 10 hours of sleep. And then whenever I get up, right. Go ahead.
Like no, I'm just going to say, you and I are like, we get into this talk, and it's like, poor Luis is left in the middle. He's
no, that's good. I'm listening.
You jump in, but it's like, well, like, just a simple email, like Jeff, when you wrote me, you're like, hey, how are you doing? It wasn't about anything. You're just like, how are you doing? And it's just nice to hear that from somebody else. It's like, not so much that everybody has an agenda. Everybody has things that they want to do and talk about and collaborate with. But as resellers, I think we have an obligation to one another. Once we get our mindful rest, once we eat, once we know we're in a good frame of mind, I mean, like, don't get all pessimistic and angry because a buyer pissed you off or something. And once you ate and got a good night's rest, reach out to your buddy. It could be somebody you haven't talked to, like, whatever happened to so-and-so on Instagram or YouTube. And, just reach out and just say, hey, thinking about you. Just want to make sure, are you doing okay? Like, a lot of guys, they tease me. They call me the Italian grandma. Like, when I go on lives, hey, did you eat? I'm not just asking, did you eat? One, I love food, but like, did you eat? Because when you don't eat, you don't focus, you lose blood sugar, whatever, you're like, then you don't focus on the important things. Did you finish your priority list? Did you do your daily aim or your weekly goal? Because as far as, the importance of being a reseller, what is your mission? Well, that depends every day. What's your top priority? Yep. You're going to you got to get the hose out and put out a couple fires here and there always, but sometimes more than not.
I was going to say there's a lot of people that have a full-time job and do reselling on the side, and especially this time of year, it can feel like you're working two full-time jobs. And then in between that, you're trying to do Christmas shopping for your family. You're dealing with the post office. Maybe you had a flat tire. Maybe you never know what people are going through. So that's what I was going to say. I reached out to another reseller the other day.
Good point. That's a good point.
I reached out to another reseller the other day, and I was just like, hey, I was just thinking about you today. I don't want anything. I'm just wanted to come check on you to see how you were doing, see how you were feeling, how things are going. And they were just like, hey, I'm having health issues. I'm doing remodeling on my house. It's just stuff that was going on in their life. And it was just nice. They were like, oh, thank you so much for thinking about me and checking on me. Because, I was just saying, hey, I was just thinking about you today. It's a really stressful time of year. I just wanted to check on you to see how you were doing.
Too much. Luis teases me sometimes. He's like, oh, God, you're getting too mushy. He's laughing. He's laughing, but I'm going to turn around. Let me say, mwah. You give him a big kiss. It's like, it's like, no, you go like, because I do that too. And I'm like, you know what? It's not that. It just takes a simple little bit of like edge off of somebody's mind here. We all have our issues. We all got our problems, but it's like, we're done with fourth quarter. Let's just say we're in first quarter. You're going to see a lot of emotions rise up. I'm telling you, you're going to see a lot of people like just still in shell shock coming out of fourth quarter, worrying about, oh crap, am I going to get is sales going to slow down? Is this going to happen? Oh no, the weather's getting bad. Like, so we were talking about logistics with the Postal Service. Imagine what they're going through. The other day, one of the top criteria, number one top things in the news was, how can we get this virus vaccine around when we can't even get the airplanes out of the airport because of freezing conditions? The weather is playing a condition. Imagine not just for something imperative as that is the example I'm trying to make, but imagine, we're still trying to get our supplies. We're trying to find bubble wrap and stuff like that, and it's blocked because whatever scenario. So it's like, we always have to kind of be on the top of our game. Where do you want to be, you guys? I'm curious. Like, I'm actually curious about this question. Is like, what are we going to get ready for first quarter? Because I want to be ready for second quarter now. I want to have first quarter already kind of aligned. I want to have my supplies. I want to make sure my books are in order. My ducks are in a row. I want to make sure I'm already paid for January here in a couple weeks. Can I do it?
Yeah, well, and the thing is, the other thing is you sell so much stuff in the fourth quarter, and then you forget, like, man, I've got to restock and get merchandise to restock my shelves, so I have merchandise to sell in January, February, March, right?
Yep.
Because you sell so much stuff, and maybe the stuff you have left over wasn't the merchandise that people wanted, so now you have to go out and take that money you made in sales and reinvest it back in your business. That's the thing I think a lot of people forget about.
What about all the returns?
Yeah,
that's going to happen too. But then there's a lot of people that's going to have.
I want to hear Luis's perspective on this, and you too, Jeff, if you got an input on it.
Go ahead.
No. I mean, it's true what you're saying. I mean, Jeff's right. A lot of people think, okay, fourth quarter's over. Okay, I'm gonna take a breather, but it's like, no, wait a minute. Everything you just sold in the fourth quarter, you're gonna look at your shelves and be like, holy moly, where's all? I need to stock up. So you need to restock, get your inventory up again. Get your shipping supplies, because we go through shipping supplies, especially through this fourth quarter. Like, I went through big, like 4 or 5 of those big bubble wrap rolls.
That's all I got left.
Yeah,
I gotta make this last the next couple.
I got 2 left, so I hear you on that.
Yeah, Luis and I were talking like, Luis, when did you order yours? He's like, back in September, maybe October. I'm like, yeah, I had 4 of them, and stupid me, I should have bought more because they were $9.99 at like Sam's. And we're always talking about cutting costs and this and that. And it's like, it's not just the supplies. It's just also the mindset of like your energy. Like when we're ready to crash, we're like, yeah, it's all down. No, it's not. You got to start. Here comes the brand new year. And what are you going to do to maintain your focus and elevate? I ask you, what are you going to do? It's like, there's a lot there. Luis is the one who started this conversation. Like, I'm busy all the way through. What'd you say? All the way through end of January, right?
End of January, yeah.
Yeah,
that's how it is. I mean, once January ends and we get into February, yeah, you'll see a decrease on sales, but that doesn't mean, okay, there's a decrease on sales, I'm going to just throw my feet up and kick back. No, you just got to restock. You got to get your inventory up and keep doing it, because then after that, you're going to get those small patches of maybe a few days you'll get a couple sales, and then one day, boom, you'll get hit with like 15 sales, and it'll slow down again. And it's always better just to be prepared than be, at the last minute trying to run to the store, trying to get all your inventory and all your shipping supplies. So yeah, it's always good just to always stay consistent. Even if it's not too busy, just try to stay consistent with everything, and make sure you have everything in line, and like that, you don't have to worry.
I started about right now, because for me, it's like, if I don't do, this is just me personally, like, I don't know how your guys' organization skills are, but like for me, if I don't start a brand new blank calendar that has no month on it, and it doesn't say what month it is, doesn't say if it's January or March or whatever, but it's blank. And on there, every day, I know there's certain things I have to do. Some of it's householder stuff, like take the trash out this day, this and this. But like there's certain days that certain stores are open and they got percentiles off, and I want to go to that store because it's half off on clothes or whatever, And I'm trying to strike that deal, because God forbid, and I said, I don't want to sound pessimistic, Jeff, but like, God forbid we get some kind of catastrophe again, coming in and cutting us short, because it's happened a year ago, almost a year ago. And I think it's just a good mindful practices, like Luis said, just do consistently as much as you can. And it's like, there will be days of rest, and you'll find it like, you're like where you sit down, you go, I'm going to bed early tonight, and then just knock one back and go get your rest. And it's like, but you gotta just constantly keep your eye on the ball. It's like playing pool or any card game or something. Like, what strategy do you have? Like, what do you guys use? Because for me, I'm always trying to stay 2 steps ahead. Do you guys have any tips? I'm curious.
You mean tips on like setting goals for the next month, or what exactly you mean, Louis?
Any kind of strategy, like, well, let's just say like staying on top of it, like what that sometimes the unforeseen, whether it's supplies or whether it's like strategy of just like resourcing and stuff. What happens if all stores shut down for you, Jeff? Like, what are you going to do? Do you have some online, arbitrage, you're going to get away with, or?
Yeah, well, what I've been doing, I personally like going to pawn shops and thrift stores and things like that. But what I've been doing this year is I've been trending to doing a lot of online arbitrage. I got people on eBay where I can buy big lots of merchandise. Like, say, for example, maybe for example, I can get some CDs for 40 cents a piece. I can get brand new DVDs shipped to my door for 50 cents a piece, and then I'll have 200 of them sent to me at the door, right? So then if I can sell them for at least $10 a piece times 200. Now you're able to make $2,000 worth of merchandise and get it listed. So
Dude,
I'm not
you're
so
a
much.
beast. You're like a beast, like when it comes to listing and stuff like that. But I mean, I get it too. I was telling Luis before you came, and I'm like, he knows his media. But I mean, there's a simplicity to it. I mean, but it can be a monotony too. It's like boom, 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 boom. But you can get in a lot. Like the other day, I went sourcing. I found probably about 50 media items, and luckily, thank God, I got away with some good ones, like a couple $50 pieces. You know what I mean? Those were nice. So it's like I didn't sit on it. As soon as I got home, scan. 1 hour, I got like 30 done. You know,
yeah.
I was going nuts. I was like, yeah, boom, 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 boom. You know, scan them in there, get them done.
Well, the thing is, you want to keep listing. Maybe you take a couple time to rest or for the holidays, for Christmas, Christmas Eve, New Year's, hang out, spend time with your family. But you have to remember, a lot of people are going to be getting gift cards for Christmas as well.
Yep.
So when they get their gift cards, they're going to want to turn around and buy some stuff. And if you have items listed, you're already 2 steps ahead of the game for 2021. I feel like that one of the things that frustrates me, not just resellers, but people in general, they want to wait till New Year's Eve to make New Year's resolution. So I'm like, no, do it right. You have, do it right now. Give yourself a list.
Planning back on October 31st. If you didn't think 2 months in advance, this is a strategy like an old teacher told me. He says, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, why aren't you thinking about this ahead of time? You wait to the day of. It's not going to make sense. Some people, and everybody thinks differently. Some people are articulate and they can write it down. But like throughout the year, that's what I'm saying. Set daily aims, set daily goals. And for every resolution you have you should have one for your business.
Yep.
And I'm very, very precarious, Jeff. I don't use the word should. You should have one for your business. Otherwise, get out of the game. Because you know what? If you're not mindful of that, what strategies are you going to help so you can daily just improve? You got to like refine things so much and tweak it every day and go, that's not working for me. This is not fast. Like I was watching Mal, who's back from burnout. She had the most awesome like video coming up. I look at her she gets her sales. I want to say she prints them at home, brings all those things and goes to her storage shed. I've never seen a neater storage shed, but one that's streamlined. She probably wraps all her stuff up in like less than, like if she had 50 items, she probably does it in 30 minutes, knowing her. I mean, it's crazy how unique it was. It's like, how can you be efficient? Because efficiency is about being effective. You're not effective if you're not being efficient. You got to step it up constantly. But the thing is where do you get that motivation? Maybe you got to take a day of rest, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's imperative,
Yep.
Right. I'm going to catch. We got a bunch of people in the chat. I don't want to ignore them. We got Brendan here in the chat. We got back from burnout here hanging out with us.
Hey.
We got Butterfly Hustles is here. We got Regina Michelle is here. She says, great video today, Cali Reseller Luis. She says, hello, eBay addicts. Hey, Regina, how are you doing? I appreciate you coming by. We got Hot Flip Heidi here. Thanks for coming by and hanging out with us. And we got Reseller Niche says, fifth quarter is here. Said, yes, so forget fourth quarter. We're in the fifth quarter. This is overtime, right?
Yep.
I wanted to say Harry's here. He says, reach out and touch somebody. Yeah. Wendy's here. She wants to know how my brother's doing. He's doing fine. He's right now, this time of year, Christmas coming up. Whenever he's not working or doing his reselling thing, he's spending time with his son. He got his son a big one of those 4-wheeler Jeeps that it's got a battery in and all that. So he's trying to get it all put together. So that way on Christmas, the kid walks in, he's 4 years old. His son will walk in and surprise him. So he's been do what? Is
your brother far from you? Where your nephew is?
He lives in Kentucky. And so about 1,000 miles away, and we got Living a Blessed Life is here, and the cap guy says he's working on getting his feedback up. So I was going to say this is a time where work is important, but also to spend time with your family, because we have sons or daughters or parents or grandparents. The kids are not going to be kids forever. Your grandparents are not going to be here forever. It's just not going to be that way. So whatever time you have with your family and loved ones, you want to make sure you take that time with your family. I don't have any kids of my own, but what I'm going to do on Christmas, my sister lives in Sarasota, which is on the other side of Tampa. So I want to be there on Christmas morning to see my nephews open up their presents, So I got them this Spider-Man video game, and I want to be there to see their eyes light up to get them presents. Because, 10 years from now, when they're 16, 18 years old, they don't want to hang out with Uncle Jeff. They're not going to be. They're going to be like, no, I'm hanging out with my friends.
Maybe you can play video games with them. Still 16, they'll still play video games, but you got to get the newest one.
Right, but I'm saying when you have kids that are 4, 6, around that age, they're only going to be kids once. So it's important to spend time with your family as well. But you also want to sit down and say, okay, 2020 is over with. I've had a crazy year. What do I want to get done in 2021? What do I want to do for my health? What do I want to do for my business? And think about what you want to do next year for 2021, and sit down. I have a little notebook that I take with me everywhere, and I have a little notebook and I write everything down. So it's important to just have.
Maybe that's the one suggestion. Is like somebody in this chat. If you don't carry a notebook, they sell these little moleskin notebooks, cheap ones. It tucks in your pocket. You can write down bolos. You can write down phone numbers of somebody you network with. You can write down ideas. Keep a notebook. I think what Jeff is saying is like so imperative.
Yeah. I wanted to say hi to Emily Conway for Hank coming by, and we got Mel here back from Burnout.
Hi, Emily.
And we appreciate you coming by. We were just talking about having a notebook or a journal to keep, write your thoughts down, to be able to keep track of maybe your goals or different projects that you have coming up.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good one. Jeff, what you also brought to my mind was, not only like, because sometimes it doesn't come easy to us. Like, I'll be honest, sometimes I get in a brain fart mode and, there you go. Yeah, just something simple as a spiral book. It doesn't matter. Just get a book. And if you're a techie person, write it in your phone. It does whatever you need to do to store that information. Have it readily available. I think a phone's a good way because we always carry our phone. So if you forget your notebook in your car, at least you can go back and get it. But I think what you said, Jeff, was you hit it right on the nose. Put down your aims. Put down your goals. But I think also journaling. I know Emily Conway, who walked in, she'll agree with this one. Put down your thoughts. I'm feeling shitty today. I can't keep focused. I don't know what's going on. Boom, 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 boom. What's agging me? It's like, well, then, sometimes like, oh yeah, my car's broken. My best friend's got coronavirus. We forget that sometimes we need to unload. Like, I'm lucky, like this year I got to meet Luis, and like we call each other almost every day. We'll say, hey, you doing okay? Okay, good. If we have time, we'll say hi for a little bit, but we do a check-in. I think it's important, like you did, Jeff, reach out to people in emails, let them know. But for yourself, keep a notebook. Write down your thoughts. Sometimes that kind of helps you kind of go, wow, a week ago, not so good. Today, I'm back on my game. I'm ready to be a boss again. And keep motivated.
Yeah, well, I work almost every day, so sometimes my days start running together. So I have a notebook, and I'll write down even something like, hey, these bills need to be paid. I'll just write it down in my notebook. Say, okay, this is the month of December. These are the things that need to be taken care of. And then I'll keep a little notebook, and I'll have an ink pen, and I'll scratch them off as I go. But then you have to keep track. And then I use my calendar on my phone, and I'll also will track and say, okay, this is how many listings I got done. So it's important. Like, if you want to make this a business, you have to kind of keep track of your numbers and your metrics. You want to keep track of your buy costs, the sell cost, all that stuff, right? So it's important to keep track of all that, but also you want to stay motivated, and you want to be able to say, okay, this is where I was 6 months ago. Like, for me, you might go,
staying motivated is just being organized. Like you said, you just keep a little notebook if that's what you're good at. But like, keep that. I think it's really one of the most imperative things for business people is if we don't keep a schedule. Sometimes, like I was saying, I got this calendar, and I'm more of a paper guy, but I also keep it on my accountability board. Like somebody who walked in right now a little while ago was Fundamentals Side Hustling, Derek. He re-inspired me. He reminded me this year, like, get off your butt, get that accountability board, write down your daily week, keep track of your sales, show your gross, your net, how many you listed, what is, just all the, details you need to. And if you can do that, that's great. That's a good motivator. How do you motivate yourself when you got to be accountable? And 2021's again, don't do this like, oh, this year I'm going to be 23% more successful. How the hell are you going to do it? Where's your aims? Where's your goal?
Well, it's important to have accountability partner and have somebody that has your back who's a reseller. Just like you guys talk to each other on a regular basis and say, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? My little brother calls me almost every day. And not only does he say, how you doing? How's your day going? But he's like, hey, you said you were going to get 50 items listed today. I can log in on your eBay store and see if you got those items listed or not. So get up off your butt, get those items listed, and call me back when you get it done. Yeah, so you want to have somebody who's also a reseller that can hold you accountable, because writing stuff in a journal and a notebook, it's easy to just hit the snooze button and say, you know what, I'm going to get back to that later.
Family will call you on it, right, Jeff?
Yeah, they don't care because they know you. They're like, I've been around you for 30 years. So
You're
they
full
know.
of prunes, Jeff. Yeah. You're full of prunes.
They know how you operate. They know how you think, and they're like, hey, get these items listed. And they can. You want to have somebody that can hold you accountable. It's nice to be able to have someone that you can reach out to you when you're having a bad day, but it's also to have that person to say, hey, even though you had a flat tire today, even though it's pouring down rain, even though you're tired, you need to get these 40, 50 items listed today. You get it done. And so you need to have someone that
daily aim. If you can keep a daily aim, let's say your daily aim is just to get 20 listed, and you go, and then you look, like you said, you look at the end of the week, you go, well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I did get my 20. I did get 17. I got 19, and then I went back to 18, and you're close, and you're meeting your, part of it and stuff, but are you there? At least you can't criticize yourself. At least I tried. You got some record of it, and you kind of just go,
Yeah, I wanted to say hi to some people in the chat we missed. We had Aaron is here hanging out with us. We got Butterfly Hustles, Emily Conway. We got Brendan here. Regina was here, and we got Fundamentals of Side Hustling. So we were just talking about, being accountable, having an accountability partner, and having someone who's also a reseller that can call you that can keep up with you and say, hey, you need to get this work done, So it's important to have somebody else that could maybe, have an accountability board, but also have an accountability person, because that accountability board can't talk to you, but a friend or family member or coworker, they can talk to you and say, hey, you know what? Get up off your butt and get this stuff done. These items aren't going to list themselves. They're not going to ship themselves. They're not going to sell by themselves. You got to put the work in, because there's some days where you just don't feel like it.
If you have that, Jeff, so like you said, your brother, he knows your mode. He knows how you operate and stuff. So is that your mode of operation? So maybe this year coming up in 2021 is what is your personal business structure going to look like, and what could you do to improve it? What seriously, but speak from the heart and think about it from the head. So open mind, open heart. Where do you really want to be? I'm not saying I want to be a millionaire. I'm just saying do you want to reach that? You want to get to that goal where you're this much closer to getting that van that's going to get you better, better deals, where you go you drive that day, boom. Can I get 2 pallets of stuff? Put it in my van. Boom. I'm out. What can you do to get that mode of operation a little bit clearer? Really, I think, like you said, if you don't start now and start keeping the journal, it's a good thing. Is it helps you see a little clearer, but then you got to be a little more specific. It's like daily refinement said, do 1% every day, do 1% better, 1%. At the end of the year, you just did 365% better than you would have.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's important to try to make progress, but like I said, you want to figure out what it is. My goal is I'm trying to go from 5,000 listings to 10,000 listings. Well, if you have that other person that's in your ear telling you, hey, you need to do this today, because you're not going to go from 5 to 10,000 overnight. But maybe you'd have someone to saying, hey, can you get 10 items? Can you get 20 items? Can you get 50 items listed today? So the next day, tomorrow, you're not starting at zero. You have a little stair step that you've made progress over the day before, Yeah. So I wanted to say hi to Bargain Reseller for coming by. We got Fundamentals of Side Hustling. Emily says, where do you live again? It's cold here. I'm in Tampa, Florida. So even though here it's wintertime, it's still 60, 70 degrees here. So yeah, I'm wearing, I don't know if you guys can tell, I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt. So sometimes I wear flip-flops in December. But yeah, but we were just talking about, giving yourself a goal for 2021, having an accountability board, having a notebook, having somebody who can be your accountability partner, who's maybe a reseller that understands that you're going to have issues.
The packages. There's a lot of good memes out there that says, it's in God's hands. And then, it's you got no control over it. at this point, just be nice to your buyers, you know, and really like figure out what is one nice thing. If you can't give your postal carrier something, do you have something? We're resellers. Don't you got one little gift you can wrap up and give it to them? Put it in a gift bag and just say, here, I was thinking of you. Here's some enemas. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Emily says, I'm mad. We're in flip-flops in December. Yeah, well, you know, we got to that's why people come down here. You see people that come down here to Clearwater and St. Pete Beach. That's when they come down here. That's when we have a ton of snowbirds that come down from New York and New Jersey and Philadelphia.
Sam Chen on Eric's channel, you know, after you left that day when you were interviewed last week on that, he's like, damn, these Floridians. It's like all these snowbirds. I need to get some. Is that what it is? It's the sun. And you can see in Sam's face was like, oh, you know, like he was like, because he's up in Chicago area. You know, it's cold. It's windy. The sun is probably not as frequent as you see in Florida. But
it's a real thing. You people get sun from, you know, energy from the sun, that vitamin D. I think it's a real thing, man. When I used to live in Kentucky, it would be freezing cold 6 months out of the year, and you could just see it on people's face, their energy level, their attitude. You know, everyone's, you know, walking like it's like freezing, you know. But in Florida,
remember Mel back from burnout, and I actually, the reason I asked her was because she's in Australia. So I said, is SAD a thing? She's like, sad? And I'm like, yeah, you know, seasonal affective disorder, where you don't get the sun. Like, let's say if you're in Alaska or places where the sun is, like parts of Canada, they have the seasonal affective disorder. The acronym is SAD. And it's a serious thing. And imagine if you're a reseller and you're not used to doing that, you know, you get depressed, you know, you can get out of whack. And it's like, you got to have a regimen. And you got to stick with it. Sometimes we fall off the track, but get back on it. So like you said, whatever reason, you need to figure out how to get motivated, whether you need somebody in your ear or not, you know. But it's nice to hear from people and say, hey, you okay? Okay. Let me know if you need something.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you think about somebody that's up in Alaska where it's freezing cold and it's dark blacks 12 hours a day, you know, so it can be different depending on where you live. But like I said, you know, we you know, even though 2020 is coming to a close, we need to sit down and figure out what we're going to work on, you know, for 2021. Let's not get complacent, because you guys have seen how quick you can go to the store and all the store shelves are empty. You know, how quick all this stuff changes. So I just think it's important.
On the other note of, I'm glad you said that. Complacency is Luis has talked about this. And like, don't get, you got, you know, everybody asks, how do you do this? He's like, you just got to do it. You know, that's not being complacent. That's just doing the next right thing. You got to move on to the next thing. But here's a positive note. Like you were saying, the shelves may be clear, but as soon as the season's over, they're going to have so many sales. We're going to be jacking that stuff up, and we're going to get it at bottom dollar. We can save it for next season, or we can just start loading it on and selling this stuff and getting rid of it quick. Because like, there's going to be a lot of sales, and they need to move that merchandise. Because I guarantee you, the brick and mortars, they're not going to sell enough. They're not selling enough. I know they're not. You know, they may be selling the toy crap and all the stuff that's bad, but are they selling enough product in their store? I go to the store in clearance aisle, and there's always something for sale. Always.
Well, there's going to be deals where you can get stuff 10 cents on the dollar for sure. You just got to be looking for it, because, you know, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the world. But if you're, you know, cognizant, if you're out looking for deals, you're going to find them. And if you can get stuff 10 cents on the dollar, you know, you might as well go out and grab it. Because like I said, the store shelves.
To be a reseller, you know, this is going to help people that are buyers that are just need stuff, you know, for whatever reason. And then, you know, eventually, but the idea is like, this is, so in thinking about that and talking about being cognizant, Jeff, clear your death piles, like make room. Because if you don't have overhead, you don't have enough room for this overhead, you better make stock, because you need to. There's going to be deals, and you're going to miss out on a deal. Do you want to sleep on it, or make room in your trunk? I don't care. You know, just get the stuff. And I'm not saying be greedy and, you know, like hoard, but do it mindfully. Do your comps, and, you know, and get it out there. You know, find somebody to move it.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the thing is, you want to have space to store your inventory. So yeah, you want to be able to clear out a space and say, hey, if I'm out somewhere and I see a good deal on something, I want to have a place to put all my merchandise and keep it all kind of organized. But yeah, there is going to be deals out there to have if you go out and look for it and search for it. There, you're going to be able to get stuff 10 cents on the dollar, and it's going to be all over. It'll be at Walmart or Target. It may be at a thrift store, because there's a lot of people that are. You said there's going to be returns when you're on your resale stores. Think about all these other brick and mortar stores. How many returns are they going to get? How many donations they're going to get at Goodwills? There's going to be stuff everywhere. So if you go out looking for it, you can find it. So I think that there's going to be plenty of merchandise out there to get. So for sure. So anyways, we've been streaming for about 53 minutes. I want you guys to kind of let me know what are some of your aims and goals that you guys have for yourself going into year 2021.
You want to go first, Luis?
Sure, I'll go. Well, for me, for this new year is to continue doing what I'm doing, keep building everything I'm doing to get to that next level. So that's what I'm working on right now. My goal is to actually get like a little warehouse to actually start bringing in more pallets and just be a bigger operation where I could actually be the middleman to sell to all the resellers, that they have another option, another, to get, stuff from me. Also from other places where they source. So that's my goal. That's my next level that I'm working hard towards too.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with Luis. I want to up my game, and one of my goals this year is probably I'm going to go for trying to get a larger vehicle, like such as a van or a truck. But I want to also diversify my sources of income, and probably thanks to Luis, he's kind of giving me the initiative, like. Think broad, like maybe auctions are in your affair. There's other ways you can do it. So if I can find, more connections and whatnot, more the better. And so, but organization is going to be one of my main aims and goals.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go ahead, Jeff.
And so that's pretty much it.
Yeah, guys, but just remember, just whatever you're doing right now, always look forward to, okay, I'm at this level right now. Let's keep working forward, and let's level up to the next level. What things can I do to help me reach to that next level? I know that once you reach that level and you feel comfortable that you're doing good and everything's all good and you're like, okay, I made it. But just always remember, it's easy. Yeah, exactly. But it's always good to always say, okay, I'm here now. I've conquered this. Okay, it's time to work forward. Let's get up to the next level now. Let's take it a step up now. Let's reach that level. Let's work forward towards that goal, and always try to stay goal oriented with your business. The more you could do it and the more time you could put it, whether you're full time or part time, it's always good just to kind of, work on that.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to leave for a sec. I just got a call from my boss at work. I had to go deal with this. I got to pick up. I got to go to Tampa or downtown and pick up these packages for the Toronto Raptors and deliver them. So they just called me. Yeah, so I got to go to work here in a bit. But I appreciate both of you guys hanging out with me. Go ahead and plug your show. Tell people where they can find you at for your Mindful Merchant show. You guys have a show coming up Monday. Go ahead.
Oh, thanks for saying. Yeah, this week, come on my channel. It'll be on the Lone Star Picker. Next week, it'll be on Cali Reseller Luis's. And we're working on some more scheduling. We got some ideas and some big names that are willing to come on the show. It's just a matter of logistics right now. But next week, we're going to have Brennan. He is the Curious Picker, and he will be on next Monday on my channel. He's a really great guy, and we're hoping he brings his guitar too. So we're going to talk a little about meditation for resellers, and it could be different forms of meditation to help maintain their focus and elevate in terms of their business.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'll come by and check it out. You said that he's related to Cincinnati Picker, you said?
I think he may be brother-in-law, I want to say. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to the people in the chat. We got Fundamentals of Side Hustling. He says list now. He says there's going to be a lot of people getting gift cards. That's for sure. So you want to get your items listed. I wanted to say hi to Jennifer Hayes. She says everybody watch the Mindful Merchants on Monday. Wendy is here. She says, would you list toys and holiday gift sets for after Christmas or wait until Q3, Q4? I would just list everything that you have right now.
Yep, throw it all up.
Yeah, just get it listed. I wanted to say hi to Nikki T here in the chat. Nikki T came by.
Hi, Nikki.
I want to say, yeah, So Jennifer Hayes, it's okay. I got both their links listed in the description. So if you guys want to go check out Cali Reseller Luis and Lone Star Picker, their Instagram and YouTube channels are linked in the description. Prison to Profit just came by. I wanted to say hi to Prison to Profit. Yeah. So thank you guys, all of you guys are hanging out with me today, and I will see you guys later. Oh, and if I don't see you guys before then, you guys have a great Christmas, okay?
You too, Jeff.
All right.
And
hey, thank you guys.
And make sure I have auctions every Tuesday night on my channel as well. So make sure if you guys have time, stop by. It's always a good time, and I always
giving away good deals, you guys. We're talking like gold. He's giving away like 0.10 graded cards and stuff at decent prices. So
yeah, go by and check it out. So definitely, for sure. You guys have a great weekend. You guys have a great holiday. I'll see you guys then. On Monday, I have a guest called the Reselling Junkie. So if you haven't heard of them, be there for the show on Monday. I'll see you guys then. You guys have a great weekend. Bye.
All right, Jeff. See ya.